Good morning. Welcome to the program, Your Agenda. Actually, the program is called Agenda, but I'm just declaring it's your agenda that we prioritize here. Thank you for watching us via One News on Cignal TV channels 8 and 250. And of course, thank you for being Cignal TV subscribers. Thank you also to PLDT for their home fiber optic internet. And so that you may be aware, today is May 26, 2023. It's a Friday. And looking out the window, it is better than expected because we were expecting a lot of rain this morning courtesy of Typhoon Mawar, but apparently the typhoon is still far outside the Philippine area of responsibility. So hopefully, pagdasal po natin that it does not have any very disruptive or destructive effects on any part of the Philippines, even those who are up north. Kasi syempre, bugbog sila lagi. When the typhoon or rainy season starts, it is always up north, Batanes, Babuyan, Ilocos, etc., Cagayan who gets hit, and mahirap din po naman. Okay, so we love everybody up there, so we pray for everybody up there. Today, later in the program, we will be speaking with a career and life coach. Now, sabihin nyo, Cito, daming nangyayari sa Pilipinas. Bakit yung mga ganyan ang pinipili? Well, it seems that many of our viewers like the positive things, the positive topics, the subjects, yung bang may kapupulutan ng kaalaman, hindi chismisan. So here on Agenda, we are getting resource persons who can get you started on your career, make correct choices, etc., etc. But before all of that, let's go on and get started with our daily starter. And it comes from the essayist and poet Henry David Thoreau, who said, "If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours." The key words here from Henry David Thoreau is confidently, advances confidently, and then direction and endeavor towards the life imagined. Okay, I just want to emphasize this because if, like me, you have been surrounding, feeling, and focusing on motivational thoughts, messages, and activities, you will be aware of the fact that many coaches now, many motivational speakers give emphasis to key points, key words, and that of David Thoreau, the key words are confidence. Because no matter what your ideas in life are, no matter what your plans are, if you do not have confidence, a modicum of confidence, sabi nga ng mga professor, okay? Wala kang believe, hindi ka naniniwala, okay? Talo ka na. Para kang pumasok sa sabungan, yung manok mo palaban, ikaw kakaba-kaba. Okay, anyway, you need to have confidence, okay? And then, you need to have direction because direction determines destination. According to one of the pastor's podcasts that I listened to, it is not intention. You may intend to be like this or to get there, etc. But if your direction is off by 1 inch or 1 or 10 degrees, okay, after a mile, that 1 inch or 10 degrees on your compass will send you to China or somewhere. So confidence, direction is important, okay? And endeavor. Kasi meron kang believe sa sarili. You are confident in what you are doing. You have made a plan. You've worked out a plan, direction, a timeline, etc. Everything good, okay? And then you don't actually work at it. Meaning, puro ka plano, puro ka isip, puro ka salita. Okay, all you do is talk, talk, talk. But you don't put in the hours. I mean, like last night, I had to actually sit down and work on an article and on some data. Medyo mahirap. At my age, nako, mahirap po. But it had to be done, so I did it. Okay, now, a life imagined. Okay, you have confidence, you have direction, you have endeavor, but you can't imagine this is going to be the result. This is what it's going to feel like. There is no excitement. There is no excitement, okay? Even yung mga crush natin sa buhay nung bata tayo, or for those of you who are young, you know, just looking at that face, okay? And imagining what it's like to be embraced, to kiss that person, etc. I'm just being the romantic here. But you need to imagine what it feels like. If it's food, what it tastes like, okay, etc., etc. Let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star, and the headline, Betty, a super typhoon again approaches Philippines. Okay. Parang na mga araw-araw tayong binabagyo, ano? Okay. Betty, a super typhoon again approaches Philippines. Okay. Tropical cyclone Mawar, which will be given the local name Betty, once inside the Philippine area of responsibility, has re-intensified into a super typhoon. Yung pala, yung again, okay? And may enter Philippine area of responsibility later today or tomorrow morning. So yung inaakala nating pwede tayong magkula, magbilad, teka, okay? So please be careful, because the super typhoon is building strength. It was reported at 2,000 kilometers east of southeastern Luzon as of 3 p.m. yesterday. Mas malapit na ngayon yan. So, buwelo pa yan. Please be careful. Okay. Now, top of the front page, 13 labor groups urge Senate not to rush Maharlika bill, although President Bongbong Marcos has already sent a letter to the Senate certifying that the Maharlika bill should be treated as urgent. Okay. Meanwhile, Bohol has been named UNESCO Global Geopark first for the Philippines. Bohol, the province of Bohol, has been named as the Philippines' first global geopark, joining sites and province ba yun? Mali. Okay. Anyway, Bohol has been named as the Philippines' first global geopark, joining sites and landscapes of international geological significance. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, has endorsed the addition of 80 new sites from around the world, including the Philippines, particularly Bohol. Napakaganda po ng Bohol. It has so many destinations, spots, etc. Please visit Bohol. Okay. Joblessness down, but still above pre-pandemic level, SWS. Medyo parang, ha? Okay. An estimated 8.7 million Filipinos were jobless in the first quarter of the year, according to a survey conducted by the Social Weather Station. The results of the March 26 to 29 survey released on Wednesday night found that the adult joblessness rate was at 19% of adult labor force. Anyway, mas mababa na daw po yung bilang ng walang trabaho, pero mas marami pa rin walang trabaho compared to before pre-pandemic. So, before 2020, I suppose. Okay. Meanwhile, BBM pushes Philippine-EU free trade deal. Okay. President Marcos yesterday called for the resumption of talks on a free trade deal between the Philippines and the European Union, saying it would be a win-win strategy for both parties. Okay. A bilateral free trade agreement will be a win-win for both the Philippines and EU. I take this opportunity to call upon our friends from the EU Asian Business Council and European Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines to proactively advocate for the resumption of negotiations for this purpose. So, okay, maganda po yan. That is a good move on the President's part, except that often when the Philippines negotiates for that, our friends in the EU always raises human rights, raises corruption, etc., etc. Kumbaga, maglinis daw muna ng bahay. Yun ang lagi nilang sinasabi. Okay, farmers question onion SRP deferment. Okay, Farmers Group, Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura yesterday questioned the Department of Agriculture's decision to delay the enforcement of the suggested retail price scheme for onions. Jason Cainglet, the group's executive director, told the Philippine Star in an interview there may be a bigger reason for this latest move. Are they protecting the cartel? It's very unfortunate. What's the bigger reason for postponing or delaying it? Itanong mo kay Congressman. Tanong mo kay Speaker, Mr. Cainglet, kasi yan ang balita. Okay. NGCP investments since privatization surpassed dividend payout. Ayun, sinagot na naman ng NGCP or National Grid of the Philippines, which saw an infusion of more than 500 billion since being privatized 14 years ago, has invested 300 billion in CAPEX or capital expenditures, particularly for improvements to its power transmission system. In a statement yesterday, the NGCP responded to criticisms at the Senate Energy Committee hearing that the company allocated a larger portion of its income to 4 years for dividends. Kumbaga, sabi kasi ni Senator Raffy Tulfo, mas malaki pa ang tinanggap sa dividendo kesa sa binalik sa kumpanya. But ayun po, sumasagot ang NGCP, not true, Your Honor. Okay. Now, economic chacha dead according to ano yun? Economic chacha found dead on the spot. The move to amend the economic provisions in the 1987 Constitution is dead in the Senate. Senator Robin Padilla conceded yesterday. In a press briefing, Padilla, who chairs the Senate Committee on Constitutional Amendments, said only senators from his party, PDP Laban, agreed to sign his committee report that proposed easing the constitutional restrictions on foreign ownership. Kasi naman, hindi ka ba humingi ng suporta kay President BBM? Yun ang naging problema. Okay. To those of you who like bang bang, weapons of whatever, the 29 Defense and Sporting Arms show opens. NCRPO Regional Director Major General Edgar Ocubo, former PNP Chief Nick Bartolome, Senator Ronald De La Rosa, Trust Trade VP Joy Gutierrez, and Glock Manager Thomas Moravec visit the Trust Trade booth at the 29th Defense and Sporting Arms Show. The event runs until May 29 at the SMX Convention Center Mall of Asia. Hindi, baka malaki na siya siguro, hindi na magkasya doon sa SM Mall in Quezon City. Okay, so last but not the least, the digital future. Philstar Media Group President and CEO Miguel Belmonte addresses a full house of over 400 participants at yesterday's Business World Economic Forum at the Grand Hyatt Manila. Over 20 industry experts and thought leaders shared their insights on building a sustainable digital future for the country during the highly successful forum. Ayun. And that about wraps up all the news on the front page of the Philippine Star. May I remind you, point out to you, that there are many articles in every edition of the Philippine Star that we are not able to cover on the program because this is not the nature of the program. We only glance through the front page. Napahaba na nga. But please get your copy or subscribe online because there's so much you need to read about. Okay, let's go for a quick break. Let me catch my breath. And when we come back, we go into career and life coaching here on Agenda. Okay, welcome back to your program, Agenda, here on Cignal TV, channels 8 and 250. And as I mentioned earlier this morning, we are going to be speaking with a career and life coach. And let's find out, what is this all about? How do you become a life coach, etc., etc.? Gabriel, kindly roll out the Betamax.
Aurora Suarez is a certified life and career coach. Suarez is also a writer for soulful content and a speaker for workshops and events. She is a co-founder of the Right Away Retreat and creator of several journals and podcasts.
Welcome to the program, Aurora. I'm your host, Cito Beltran.
Hi, Cito. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Para bang flight attendant. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, I don't know why I'm in such a cheery mood today, but it's good to have you on the program. And to begin with, perhaps you could just give our viewers an idea or, an introduction to what a career and life coach is.
Okay, so I'm a life and career coach, and the whole idea behind what I do is that I guide courageous, amazing women achievers to get clarity on what they truly want, so to go confidently in the direction of their dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Make courageous choices and take purposeful action. So again, it's everything that Henry David Thoreau said earlier, and I guide women achievers, creatives, and leaders to do what Henry Thoreau encouraged us to do over a century ago.
Okay, now how did you arrive at this destination in life? Because the notion or the concept of a life career coach or life coach and career counselor, back in the 60s, 70s, there were career counselors who would teach old people like me in high school and early college na, our job is to help you figure out what is the right course for you, as in, journalism or whatever. But nowadays, there seems to be a different notion on what career and life coaches are all about. What happened?
Yeah, I think it changed because I think everyone really feels like they need help more than what a guidance counselor was able to provide in high school or college. So I think this desire to connect with someone. I think what we used to have in our childhood was maybe a priest or a guidance counselor, and I think we were looking for that as we grew older, and people really needed someone to talk to, someone who can understand, hold space for their thoughts, feelings, fears, and anxieties, and maybe guide them towards seeing their lives through a new perspective.
Okay, so how did you get into this calling, if I may term it that?
So I went through I think like everyone, I went through very difficult personal challenges, and I went through counseling. And after working with my counselor for years, I actually emerged on the other side and said, "Oh my gosh, my life completely transformed." It really opened my eyes as to where, I was really going down the direction that I didn't want to go to, and I said, "Oh my gosh, what an amazing thing to do for other people, to guide them through that." But I didn't want to deal with relationships or grief, which is really the traditional, the healing path that counselors really do for people.
Mm-hmm.
So I was researching, and this was in the early 2010s, so very, very, really maybe 10 years ago. I was researching, and I found the very brand new field of coaching. In fact, I studied in the US because there was no such thing yet here in the Philippines or in Asia. And and it was really all about helping people become better than they were. So, like how you have Serena Williams, who's an amazing tennis player, the coach will make her Serena Williams. And I said, "Oh my gosh, that's something that I would love to do. That's something inspiring for me." And so I trained, and then ended up, after taking a 10-month course in the US, I ended up practicing here.
Okay, you'll have to excuse me if I say things off the cuff here and there, just in relation to that, because I have had friends who are much older than me, much more accomplished than I am. They've run multinational corporations, they've become CEOs, and then when they retired, they actually did the same thing you did. They went abroad and enrolled and got certified for executive coaching. They got certified for career counseling, like you are. And I'm like, what is the process like, Aurora? You went, and where exactly did you study?
So I took a course called the Courageous Living Coach Certification, and I really liked that whole idea because it was about courageous living, and I realized that a lot of us are really motivated by our fears more than by our courage. So that really resonated with me. Yeah, so it was a course in Petaluma in California, in the Napa Valley area. It was online, so we were doing Zoom before Zoom was even a thing. So pre-pandemic times, and yeah, so the process was 10 months, and I had to go through everything from the kinds, really digging deep and unearthing my stuff. And and then of course going through hundreds of hours, or well, about 100 hours of coaching others before I could graduate and get the certificate.
So you had to live there.
No,
Uh,
I was actually doing it here in
okay.
Manila, yeah, but I had to fly there for the initial retreat. So
Mhm.
classes were twice a week. Uh,
Mhm.
and California time. So usually 1 a.m. for me.
Okay, I'm familiar with that because I have a daughter living in the Netherlands, and time zones are a killer
Yes.
for them. Okay, so you took the it's a certificate course, over 100 hours of training, coaching, etc. Now, how did you determine that this is it? I am now actually a life coach, a career counselor.
Yeah, it took a while. I was working in the corporate world, of course, for 16 years. And while I was taking the course, I was actually also still working. And then after a few months, I was working with a coach. That's how I know how powerful it is to work with a coach, because I actually also do have my own coach. And
Mhm.
she encouraged me, and she thought she gave me this idea of what would it look like if you actually gave 100% to something. We always say, oh, I have a plan B or a plan C. And in the corporate world, that's something that we've all been trained to do, is to have a plan B. And she said, what if you remove your plan B and this is it? This is the only plan. And what would change if everything was 100%, if you gave this 100%? And that really, again, spoke to me. And I decided, I decided to go full time as a life and career coach.
Okay, now uh, all the motivational speakers I've listened to, all of the experts, etc., I've watched and I've talked to, even here on the program, they always go back to that. Imagine or think, what would it look like? Okay. Now, what did it look like for you? It's like, I'm going to leave my job, my 9 to 5 job, my paycheck every 15-30 job, my job that's giving me a lot of perks and gives me something to say when I'm at parties, when they ask, what do you do?
So of course I envisioned it, because that is what everyone that is, as a coach, that is the first thing you really, uh, tell people what to do, is really envision what that looks like. And for me, it really was looking like, at first I wanted, I was clear on what I didn't want anymore. And usually that's a good starting point for a lot of us. When people say, oh, I don't know what I want, I don't really know what I should be doing with my life, I always say, why don't you start with what you don't want? because that sometimes that's easier, and then move towards what you want. So when I envisioned the life that I wanted, it was really I wanted to not manage a team. So I only have one employee, and that's me. And I have a
Mhm.
wonderful boss who is also me. And, and of course, really working and coaching amazing women and collaborating with women who inspire me and who I admire.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, why courageous women? Okay, because there are a lot of women who I understand have issues, have questions, have challenges. Why this particular group, and define what this particular group is dealing with, etc. I mean, what's the usual problem?
Yeah. So a lot of the problems are really, it ranges from I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. Am I in the right career? Should I stay in this job? Should I move forward? Should I take the leap into my dream? Should I finish my thesis? How do I lose weight? So the gamut really runs very broadly. But I think what I like with working with these women is that they are, number one, committed to their own growth and development. They're also willing to they're opening their hearts and their minds to looking at their lives in different ways, and to seeing fear. Sometimes we look at fear as something we should avoid or evade, and really erase from our life. And what I try to help them do is see why is fear there? What is fear bringing to your life? And maybe that's something that you can give to yourself, so that you don't need fear to be running your life for you, but that you, with your vision for your life, your intention for your life, that's the one that's making the choices and the courageous actions to take moving forward.
Okay, so yeah, go ahead,
Yeah.
Laura.
So yeah, what I realize is that a lot of us are really even staying in the job that maybe doesn't fulfill us anymore, or staying in a relationship that is safe, but maybe is not the right one for us. It's really, a lot of it is motivated by fear, because we don't see what else is possible. We don't see what else could happen. And that's what I want to actually show them, is really give them that possibility mindset that, hey, let's explore, let's see what else is possible for you.
In terms of strategies or approaches, what do you tackle first? What is the fundamental, what is the essential matter that has to be dealt with before all the big deals are addressed?
Right. So the first thing I really do is really hold space for the person. And by holding space, it's really listening in a non-judgmental way. Sometimes that's all that's needed, because sometimes really providing that quiet space allows my clients to access, the inner wisdom, or access the voices that they have been trying to be heard, but is not being heard, because no one has held that space for them, because people are so used to saying, ay, that won't work, or ay, that's too scary, ay, hindi yan safe, ay, wala kang plan B, hindi pwede. So really, I think it starts with really holding that space of non-judgment, of
But are women really, and ladies and gentlemen, especially sa mga kababaihan, na wag niyo akong kulamin, ha? Do not hate me when I ask this question, because I've been crucified for just asking a plain question without any agenda. But it's always been said that women are more intellectually honest than men. Now, I would compare men to animals being treated by a veterinarian, because animals don't talk and men don't talk, they don't share. So it is 10 times more difficult to deal with men. But with women, are they really honest about who and what their situation is? Or do they start off as using you as a sounding board, and you actually have to claw out or rip up all of the shields before you get to talk to the person?
I think it's a mix of both. There are some who, of course, I think have been traumatized in the past when they've been vulnerable. So that's when they put up more walls and are not as completely honest as they could possibly be. And that's okay. You know, it takes a while to build up trust with someone, especially a stranger. And
Mhm.
that's but there are also people who, have been looking for help, have been Googling, have been trying to find answers everywhere. And so when they meet me, they realize that, oh, there's someone here who can actually, is listening and can actually ask the questions that I need to ask or I never even thought to ask. And I think that is when the conversation becomes more interesting, and that happens in one session or that happens over the space of several sessions. Again, it's really about holding that space and
Mhm.
not coming in with any agenda.
Mhm.
And really just trying to see, I don't know if they're lying. If they are, then it's not really my story, it's their story. I'm just here to really hold that space for
But
whatever they're willing to share with me.
how do people know about Aurora and the work you do? Because I mean, I'm a crisis management consultant. I've been in construction, tourism. There a whole lot of stuff I give advice on, but I still need to go out there and call people and remind people, "Hoy, buhay pa ako. I'm still here in case you need." As one influencer said, your visibility is your responsibility. But how does Aurora do it? I mean, you guys are in a field that is either suspect, meaning, they're not sure whether it's a legitimate thing, or they're doubtful if it will make a difference, or expensive.
Right. I love that we are suspect. No, but it's okay. I understand what you mean. Yeah. So usually when people are looking for coaches, they are, they really are looking, they're really already with going through something challenging or going through something that they can't solve on their own.
Mm.
And usually what happens when that happens, it's a very private thing. So
Yeah, but
um
how do they know about you?
yeah,
Because
so
I was
yeah,
surprised that,
I'm
when Team
I'm
Agenda said we're getting this life coach, career coach, saan nyo nakuha yan? Saan nyo nahanap yan?
I'm heading there. I'm answering your question.
Okay, okay.
And how they find me is through everyone's best friend, Google. So if you type Life Coach Philippines, I'm way up there.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on the first page of Google. And so there are, of course, other coaches, and you will just find out about me. I mean, everything is very transparent on my
But
website.
do you need to be licensed in the Philippines? Because, what?
Yeah, anyone can. I can have had no certification and just
Mm-hmm.
called myself a coach. Yeah,
Well, I mean, I'm not going to be judgmental either, because, people will ask me, why do you know so much? What qualifies you in this field? I said, try interviewing 250 people every day of the year. If you don't learn something every day, you've got to be really dumb, and stuff like that. So mine is experiential, mine is interrelational. You, on the other hand, got certification, you got training, but at the end of the day, it's really skills. What makes you better at this than the other life coaches and career coaches?
I think what makes me better is intuition. It's really I think being able to suss out, like, you're telling me this is what you want to work on, but I feel that it's actually this. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that's something that's important. It's and of course, again, holding that safe space that if they say no, 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 I don't want to work on that, I actually want to work on this. It's that then I'll just go back to what they want to work on. But most of the time I hone in on that and they say, yeah, that's actually the issue. So I think that's number one. Number two, I think it's strategic thinking. I worked a long time in the corporate world, so I also can head straight to to the problem, and
Mhm.
again find a purposeful action that will actually make an impact. And number three, I think it's really working from the heart. I again, while the corporate thing is an asset, I think just coming again, connecting with the heart and connecting from that space of really caring for my
Yeah.
client and caring for her, not just her results. I mean, for me, sometimes, yeah, the results are great, but sometimes it's really just caring for that person and letting that person feel that, oh my gosh, someone is actually caring for me, and not saying that what I want is wrong, unreasonable, illogical, in the dream world. It's really someone just just seeing me for who I am.
Okay, let's go for a quick break. And when we return, I'm going to have to take you on a speed date because we're going to run out of time and there's just so many questions to be answered. So it's going to have to be quick and fast, but still meaningful. We'll be right back here on Agenda. How does a person know that she needs to see you?
Oh, okay. How do you know? It's when you're not getting the answers you're needing from anyone anymore, and it's really time to start listening to yourself. Or when you're feeling so lost and confused, and when you're that thing when they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, and getting the same results, and you keep doing, and maybe it's time to pivot to a new direction.
Okay, what are the top three or top five indicators that you need to see a life coach or a career counselor?
Yeah, so the number one is you're feeling lost and confused. Number two,
Lost and confused where? At work,
at work,
etc.
at life, at your relationships. Usually it's all one. You know how they always say work, life are different? No, it's one life.
Mhm.
Work is part of it. So whatever it is, yeah, so it's number one. Number two, when you need some clarity, a lot of them really come to me. I need clarity
Okay.
about what I should head towards. I need clarity about what all these questions that are in my head. Number
Can
three
you
is,
give us a particular example, Aurora?
yeah,
Because,
so
yeah.
yeah. So for example, I need clarity on if I should stay in this job or if I should leave. I need
Mm-hmm.
clarity on if I should stay in this relationship or if I should go. I need clarity on the next steps. I want to set up my own business. Is that the right business for me? Should I stay in my job or and just do it as a side hustle? Really,
Mm-hmm.
just asking. If you have a lot of questions that you don't seem to have the answer to, I think
Okay.
that's the third piece. Number four,
Yeah.
if you need, you need a new vision. You need to envision your life. See maybe different possibilities that you're not seeing. And
Can you expound on that a little? Because a lot of people have a problem figuring what that means.
yeah, so I think what happens is that people have a very limited idea of what's possible. I think because we are so used to looking everywhere for the answers. For example, we look at social media and we think that, oh, maybe the right thing for me is really traveling around the world and being a travel blogger. Or maybe it's time for me to be an influencer. Maybe I should go on TikTok and be an influencer. Just seeing like everyone's the end result of everyone's choices and decisions and seeing, oh my gosh, that's what I want for my life. But
So, like Facebook and TikTok is the best place to go to if you want to feel miserable or envy other people.
right, I think yes, any social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I think there's also space for inspiration, especially if you're following people who do inspire you. But there's also that space of making you feel, oh no, I'm not enough, or I'm
Mhm.
not. My life is not
Okay.
as amazing as theirs.
Okay. So now, what's the fifth one?
Yeah. So the fifth one is, I think, really finding ways to take purposeful action. So it's not just about, it's not just about having the vision and having the intention and having the direction, but it's really about what actions do I need to take next so that I can move forward to those possibilities that I have envisioned.
Purposeful action. Okay. Now, when is it the right time to start getting a coach? Because you said even though you are a life coach now, you've got the certification, you still have someone coaching you. I mean, I would love to have a coach, but at my age, they're all too busy. They're all too busy running multinational companies, and they say, "Cito, let's just have coffee." It's like, yeah, sure. When the crow starts to sing, maybe. So what about high school, college? Is that a good time to get a coach for someone?
I feel like, well, I personally coach women in their 20s, mid 20s onward. So usually when they're going through their quarter life crisis,
Mhm.
quarter life crisis, midlife crisis, 35-year-old crisis, whatever crisis comes
Mhm.
up. So that's when I usually come in. I have a client who comes to me regularly every month and really just for ongoing support. But that's rare. Usually it's really when they're going through something that they can't navigate their way out of themselves. So when is it? I feel high school and college, there's a lot of support around you in terms of your guidance. Usually the school provides a lot of support around
Mhm.
that. And I think that's a space that I personally, I'm
Yeah.
not interested in, but of course there are other coaches who do work with high school and college
Okay, do you go to a life coach because you have a crisis, or do you go to a life coach to avoid the crisis?
I would rather you go to a life coach to avoid a crisis, but usually when things are going well, they don't, that's the least of your priorities. They don't usually. So usually it's really when it's a crisis. But ideally, it would be in a time when you want to get better. You're in a good space, and now I want to reach the next level life.
Mhm.
That is the ideal, but that's not where we are. I don't know if that's not where we are as Filipinos, or that's not where we are yet as, or that's not where my clients are at. But for me, it really would be that I'm here, I'm at this level. I really want to reach the next.
What are the crucial concerns for you as a life coach? Because you talked about your clients or people who go to a life coach because they have career crisis. They don't know whether they're going to carry on or go to a different field. They don't know if they'll leave their job, put up their own business, or whether they're going to leave their boyfriend or their partner, etc. But what are the red flags for you, or cases that, hey, let's deal with this and give it priority because this could end up badly?
Right. Usually when it's because again, I'd like to differentiate between coaching and therapy. So usually when people come to me with mental health challenges, that's when I would have to refer them out to or when it becomes to healing, really healing, trauma, healing, emotional wounds is really, a coach you don't go to for example, if I'm again going back to my Serena Williams metaphor, if I'm Serena Williams and I break my ankle, I'm not going to go to my coach and say, teach me how to play better with my broken ankle. No, I have to go to my doctor and heal my broken ankle first.
So go to a doctor, go to a psychiatrist, to a psychologist,
counselor,
yeah, and then when all of
when we've healed, and now we can move forward towards the actions, the things that you want to move forward on, in terms of the direction that you want to take for your life.
Okay, based on the stuff that the team gave me, something actually caught my attention, and you're the creator of several journals, podcasts, and you have the Right Away Retreat. What is a Right Away Retreat?
Oh, Right Away Retreat is an amazing project that I do with two women authors. One is Samantha Soto-Yambao. She's published by Random House in the US, and she actually has an amazing book that's coming out next year. And Mina Esguerra, who is the founder of Romance Class, which is a romance writing publishing arm in the Philippines. And so I work with these two amazing women, and we take women away on a writing retreat for 4 days, where we hold workshops, we allow them to write, we have wine and cheese nights, have amazing meals, and nurture their inner writer. It's really all about nurturing their writing voice. And again, by nurturing, it's really nurturing. We do not critique. We don't. It's really all about nurturing your inner writer.
Okay, and at the end of the day, what do you achieve?
At the end of the day, they come home with a written chapter. They get clarity on their book idea. Usually it's a book idea or a tiny book idea, whatever it is. It could be a nonfiction book, poetry book, whatever. And they also have one-on-one mentorship with me, Mina, and Sam, so that so I work with them towards their fears, writer's block, obstacles that are keeping them from moving forward on their creative project, while Mina and Sam really guide them on the nitty-gritty of how to actually write a book. So we have workshops on everything from finding inspiration to actually getting published abroad, locally, self-publishing. So it's a very, very comprehensive 4 days of learning, of writing, and of meeting other amazing women writers.
Okay, now I've been told several times by some of the well-known motivational gurus, etc. Cito, you got to write a book. Why do you have to write a book?
I think if you don't want to write the book, you don't have to write.
I'm posing it as a question because Aurora, it's like I don't get it. We're not like the US. We're not really a book reading culture. If you go to the bookstore, most of my favorite bookstores all are now down to 1/5 of what they were, etc. It's just so pathetic.
Actually, people are really reading. Why write a book? Number one, because you have a message you want to share. An important message that only you can tell. Everyone says, yeah, but all the messages have been shared already, but it hasn't been told from your perspective. And that might have might touch someone or might reach someone that that might will change their lives, or at least give them a moment of pleasure and joy in reading those words. Right before I got here, I was reading a book, and it was a romance book, and it made me happy and kilig, and put me in a good mood for our interview this morning. So I think number one, that's one. Number two, if you're in a professional field, writing a book can actually up your your professional reputation. It adds
Okay.
value that I am an author, and so on. And of course, I think really it's really about sharing. It's about giving in to your creative urges and communicating that.
Well, if I wrote the book, there will be people who would put out a contract on me and have me killed.
Or hide their names, put pseudonyms. It's like,
Okay. Anyway, Aurora, before we end the interview, which has been quite pleasant, and we do hope that we get to consult with you in the future, how do people engage with you? And I mean, what's it gonna cost me? That's usually what people ask, and like, pwede ba tawagan nyo na lang? Oh. Di ko alam yung fees nila eh.
yeah, you can go on my website. It's auroramsuarez.com, and all my fees are there. So, yeah.
Okay, and normally, what is the length of this coaching process? Because I've spoken to some people, and there are people who undergo coaching for a month, and there are people who undergo coaching for a year. Is this a part of a contract? Is there a time lock, etc.? How do we engage Aurora Suarez?
Yeah, so we usually start with something that I call a discovery session. So that's a 1 hour session where we really just talk, get to know each other, build trust, find out if I'm the right coach for you and if you're the right client for me. So it's a mutual thing. And from there, I have a coaching program that's for 5 sessions, which can be done twice a week. So that's over 3 months, or it can also be done over months, so over the next 5 months. There have been clients again that I've worked with for years, and that's okay. And there have been clients that that one, I think really the transformation in their lives has been, and it's been a tumult, because transformation really sometimes means overturning your life, and that can cause a lot of turmoil and a lot of discomfort. And sometimes you really need someone to just hold that space and say, you will emerge from this, and that's okay. And changing your life doesn't happen overnight. And especially when you make the intentional choice to change it. The pandemic changed their lives immediately, and that again caused so much discomfort. But when you're making an intentional choice to change your life, sometimes you move forward and you move back and move forward and move back 10 steps again. And you need someone to really keep holding your hand, keep cheering you on as you go through the process.
Okay. Thank you very much, Aurora Suarez, life coach and career counselor. And we do hope to engage with you in the future. Thank you for your time today. God bless you.
Thank you again so much for having me. Have a good day as well.
You too. Okay, and now let's go to our closing prayer for the week. And it is from the book of John, chapter 14, verse 27. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not be afraid. When God is for us, who can be against us? Sabi nga na ni St. Paul. So I do hope you have a peaceful, restful, cool weekend. God bless all of you. Please take care, stay safe, stay warm, and pray for us as well, Team Agenda and our loved ones. Have a great weekend. Keep it here on One News.